Hey everyone, welcome back with Being on Mac, where today we're going to continue our playthrough of Mortal Kombat Armageddon for the PlayStation 2. And this time we're going to do a little bit of some arcade mode action. We're going to play as my man Reiko here. And Reiko, I feel like, is a bit of an underrated character, in my opinion. I think it's cool that he's, a member, not actually a member, but he's actually the general of Shao Kahn's army. I feel like that's something that the series has never actually taken advantage of, really. Other than a little bit, I guess, it's cool that you fight him. He's one of the last characters you fight in, Shao Kahn's fortress because of that in conquest mode in this game. But I think it would be really cool if, like, let's say MK9 when it came out, even if he wasn't a playable character, it would have been cool if he was just kind of like in the background of cutscenes to kind of show, like, yeah, this is, Reiko is the general of Shao Kahn's army. He is leading the charge, either, hanging out in the throne room or something like that during the second tournament, during the MK2 storyline, or if it was something along the lines of, he was leading the invasion during, the events of what would be MK3, just because it just would make more sense to me, Like I said, you wouldn't even have to be playable or even someone you fight, but just someone you would maybe occasionally see in the background as like an Easter egg. I think he's one of the few characters that shows up in the pit background, the guys that fight in the background and stuff like that in MK9. Which was really cool. I think that guy's like Mavado. Like, I think they literally just took like the 3D era characters from the PS2 and just kind of like, maybe they updated their designs a little bit. But it seemed like they just kind of like almost copy and pasted them and just put them in the background of the pit stage of MK9. I think Reiko was one of the characters. I know Mavado was one of them too. But I don't know, that was just a really cool stage, I think, and really well done. But like I said, I just think that the series may not have always taken advantage of. It's kind of like Raditz being Goku's brother in Dragon Ball Z. It's like a really cool accolade that he has, but it feels like the characters could have maybe been expanded more, or you kind of just, it's a character that has that interesting connection to someone very big in the story that they're featured in, but their like role in the overall story is not very big in the grand scheme of things, if you can kind of understand what I'm saying. But even then, I love the goofiness of Reiko and just the corniness and the stupidity of Reiko, like in MK4, they hint at the fact that he might be either Shao Kahn or even the reincarnation of Shao Kahn after his death in MK3, and it just turns out in Deception, nope, Reiko he's a general of Shao Kahn's army, and he just likes going in his throne room. He just loves going to his throne room and just wearing his helmet, because he fantasizes about being the actual Emperor of Outworld, and it's just so stupid. The stupid mission where, like, in Deception's Conquest mode, where Shujinko runs up to Shao Kahn, so Shao Kahn says, hey, go tell Reiko to stop wearing my helmet. It's so childish and stupid when you look back on it, but I just love it. It's just so funny. And then you gotta tell him, go find Reiko and tell him, hey, come on, man, don't wear Shao Kahn's helmet, dude. It's not cool. It's just so stupid. And then the best one, actually, to me, is in the same game, Mortal Kombat Deception, in Conquest mode. You can find Reiko later on in Edenia. And the whole thing going on in Edenia in that game is that Shao Kahn is invading that realm. And, they have the Edenian resistance, the freedom fighters, the good guys. And then you have, Outworld invaders, Shao Kahn's militia. And, people, they go there and you talk to random Edenian NPCs and they say, oh, Shujinko, champion of the Elder Gods, are you here to save us from Shao Kahn's militia? We're so happy to help you here. And then you go and talk to Reiko, and he has like, I don't think it's a map. I forget exactly what it is, but it's like these plans. And it's, it's literally the plans to like destroy the Edenian resistance once and for all. So Reiko's dumbass just gives you these the most important plans that you could ever have in this war. He's like, hey, just go deliver this to some random militia member of Shao Kahn's forces. And so you have two options. You can either do what Reiko says and give it to, like, you know, I don't think it's a random one or any of them. I think it's just have to be like a, you just have to keep talking to him until you find the right, like, member of his militia that will take, like, the, you know, the plans. And you can give it to the Shao Kahn's, you know, militiaman, right? You know, military guy. Or you could do the right thing and find an Edenian resistance member, you know, a freedom fighter, and give him the plans. I think he even says something like, oh wow, if these had fallen to the wrong hands, you know, Edenia would have been wiped out completely. Thanks, Shujinko. And it's just, Reiko is such a dumbass. I just love it so much that that they gave you that mission to make him look like even more of a jackass than he already is. It's just the stupid. That's classic PS2 era Mortal Kombat corniness, and like I feel like Reiko personifies it the best, and that's partly why I love him so much. He's just such a jughead, man. I mean, how can you not love him? In my opinion, him and Reiko, I feel like are characters that like are really stupid, but are just so stupid. You have to love them in a way. But even then, like, it kind of carries on a little bit after that, too, because in the Mortal Kombat 10 comics, you know, after Shao Kahn's gone, you know, everybody's trying to, you know, become head of Outworld and all this other stuff, you know, the new Kahn of Outworld, and there's the Kotal forces, Kotal Kahn, and then there's, of course, Melina's forces who, you know, because she was technically Shao Kahn's daughter, she, you know, had the birthright or something like that to become the next Kahn of Outworld and stuff like that. And Reiko had a relationship with Melina, and he was working for Havoc on the side because, you know, he wanted to become like a god and stuff like that, I believe. I can't remember the exact details, but yeah, it was Reiko and Havoc were working together, and part of them working together was Reiko had to have a relationship with Melina. And I mean, let's be honest, to some of the, you know, the really down bad gamers, that's like a freaking dream for them, right? Having a relationship with Melina and stuff like that. Me personally, I could just never get past those freaking teeth, man. Like, I don't know, I just, call me vain or whatever, but I mean, like, I would be terrified if I just woke up in the middle of the night, or if I just woke up in bed the next morning, I just seen those teeth. Ugh, man, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's one of those things, I guess, you know, like if you could get desensitized to it, but yeah, I'd be terrified. Especially since Melina is just absolutely nuts, but I don't know. I guess, you know, for girls in gaming, you know, she's got a really nice bod, as they say, so is what it is, but I don't know. I think I could personally pass on it myself. But I don't know. Like I said, some other guys' dream girls. But that's that. I mean, it's just funny that like Reiko, just to get in power, he literally had a relationship with Melina, and I think she falls for him. Like I think like he has her heart in his hand and everything like that. And I think there's even like in the comic, like they just got done having sex or something like that, and Havoc came and checked up on Reiko. And Reiko's just like, please, I don't want to do this anymore. How long do I have to do this for? And it's just so funny. I mean, he ends up getting betrayed at the end anyway by Havoc, and Havoc you know, ends up essentially sacrificing Reiko and stuff like that. But it was, I think they even had like the Reiko Accord was something they mentioned in MK10, like the actual storyline in the game. I can't remember exactly what the end result was of that, but I don't know. It's just kind of cool that, you know, he kind of got a little bit of spotlight, you know, and otherwise wouldn't have. And I don't know. I think, I don't know. It's just another cool thing. I like that they tried to do something new with Reiko, the character. And I gotta say, I mean, it was kind of cool that they tried to use him in the Mortal Kombat movie, the recent one that came out. You know, the first one, like the rebooted one. But I mean, he looked just so generic. Like, they could have at least they could have given him all they had to do really was just give him some contacts to white out his eyes, or at least try to, you know, at least, and then just kind of give him the face paint. But he's just a random bald dude. I didn't even know he was Reiko at first, because he had the hammer and everything. He just looked like a smaller Shao Kahn. But yeah, I was not a fan of him in that movie, but it is what it is. You know, it's kind of cool that, you know, him and Natara still got some representation at least. But I don't know. I'm a big fan of the original MK. You know, 1995 I believe is when it came out. Just not a big fan of the reboot, which I don't know. To me, Mortal Kombat's more about more than just fatalities. It's about story, and I think the first one, well, it didn't have the fatalities and the blood, unfortunately. It had really good story and really good characters, in my opinion. And that's why, you know, you would see later on that a lot of what happened in the movie, you know, they would take stuff from the characterization from that and, you know, add it to the characters. You know, like Kano becoming Australian. I think it really showcased Johnny Cage in a really great light. You know, very funny, showed his comedic side and whatnot. And Robin Show was just a really good Liu Kang. But that said, folks, what do you think about Reiko? Let me know down below in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe. Check out next week's episode on Fighting Friday. But above all else, though, please remember to have a nice day.
When the godlike power of Blaze flashed through Reiko's body, he felt his old desire for power return more intensely than ever before. Now more powerful than even Shao Kahn, Reiko defeated the Emperor and claimed his helmet. As he placed it on his head, his body fused with it, transforming him into a warlord of unprecedented savagery.